All right, Wrestlemania here for a third part because we still have that epic main event to talk about.
Roman Reigns, who's been champion for over 1,300 days, puts his title on the line against the 2023 and 2024 Royal Rumble winner, Cody Rhodes, in a Bloodline Rules match.
Yeah, and so both men come out to make their finish. Cody Rhodes with the Cody Vader comes up with a weird looking mask.
It's his symbol, but as a mask.
Yeah, and then his wife
It's his tattoo, but a mask.
And then his wife Brandy is there. You get all the pyro, the theatrics. I didn't time it here, but I think Roman's entrance takes like 5-7 minutes or something. I forgot how long it was. But then Roman comes out. He comes out with a choir, but I look at my dad and I go, none of those people are mic'd. So what is the purpose of this?
Oh my. I mean, they could have mics like surrounding them, picking up their, voices. It's the like Philadelphia school district. So what I was wondering, Jack, is what do you tell those kids? Like, how many of them are wrestling fans? And do you just go, hey, we have to learn this song. We're going to play out the tribal tree, the head of the table, Roman Reigns, to his main event at WrestleMania. And then go, what are you talking about? I go, acknowledge him. Every rehearsal starts with them throwing up the ones.
Oh, man.
One kid's excited about the whole thing.
But both men make their entrances. The match starts. And like we've been saying throughout these parts, you care about the entrances and the finish. So straight to the finish we go. Now I'm playing.
Hey, Jack, before we even get to the ring, before we get to the elaborate entrances and the awkward helmets and the non-mic singers, the video package, Jack, set to Imagine Dragons. Imagine Dragons walking around thinking they're Limp Bizkit from 2001. Did you see the video? Did you see the video, Jack?
Yeah.
Celebrate Cody's ascension to WrestleMania's 40 main event.
Yeah.
Did you see it in the video, Jack?
Yup, the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, I believe.
And Jericho.
Yeah.
And then Roman Reigns is, throwing up the ones, letting everyone acknowledge him. And as he's making that slow crawl across the ring apron, Michael Cole's telling you about everyone he's beat up to this point across 1,300 days, including Edge and Daniel Bryan. And did Cesaro get mentioned?
I don't remember.
I definitely wrote down Edge and Daniel Bryan, getting the old callback too.
Yeah. We've come a long way from this, from the summer of 2020 till now. This is what we've all been waiting for because we wanted it to end much sooner than 4 years later.
Yeah. Created a whole other championship because of how inactive this one was. But this is it. Cody is our hero. He's got to finish his story.
Prior to the finish and ending of this match, sir, what were you thinking about the match leading, like the first parts of the match?
It's a pretty standard affair. I don't think we delve into any bloodline rules at all, right? I'm trying to think, because I stopped writing things down. I'm not taking notes. I am all in, pencils down. And I don't remember anything, too crazy. Did they get the kendo stick out early?
I believe so, yeah. They get the kendo stick out. Roman, I think it was Roman, tries taking a couple swings and misses.
Oh, yeah, he takes a big old swing like he's, hitting a home run. But Cody ducks, yeah.
Yeah, and
this was moving way faster than the tag match was. The tag match, by the way, being the second longest main event of WrestleMania history, and it felt it.
Yeah. And
what's the only main event, Jack, to be longer than Saturdays?
I'm gonna guess the only one I can think of going like. Actually, wait, didn't Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart have an Iron Man match at WrestleMania?
Yes, they went an hour with no pinfalls.
Yeah, I remember because someone was like they had an Iron Man match and took away the one notable feature of it.
That was yeah. So Saturdays was the second longest match that had one more pinfall than the WrestleMania 12 main event.
But funny enough, I wanted to I think I needed to use the restroom during this match, and I told my dad man, I don't really want to miss much. But then I was like, wait a second, the match doesn't start until Solo Sikoa comes out. I got time.
It's actually Jimmy, smart guy, who's the first to come out and really, sort of play into the Bloodline rules match. And he comes at a time where Cody's got the crossroads set up, and he eats a big old super kick for his troubles. And here we go, Jack. We've played this story out 1,000 times. Jimmy's out here. Oh my, here we go.
I quickly want to mention Roman Reigns doing the crossroads move. Cody kicking out, and then Roman looking at the camera and going, I should have known. That move beats no one.
So good. That was so good.
Yeah, and, from here, complete and utter chaos. Because as Jimmy and Roman are beating down Cody, Jey Uso's music hits. And I like how rather than just wait there and, wait for him to come out, Jimmy, especially probably still angry at the loss from the day before, beelines it for Jey, and they start fighting on that ramp.
Yep, super kick, and then the spear to Jimmy off the ramp onto some strategically placed tables. Jack, if that was 60 seconds, that 60 seconds was better than their whole match on night one, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and so from there, Cody and Roman start fighting again. He's gonna get the crossroads in until we get a flashback to last year as Solo Sikoa comes in, hits the Samoan spike, notably missing his sweater. I guess he got tired of people making those jokes about him.
He gets Roman to hit his spear, and even after the spike and the spear, Cody kicks out, which I guess in storyline or canon makes sense because, I don't know if Roman's connected as much as maybe last year.
Yeah, and not only that, but, Cody's body has built up that immunity after taking the spike a lot,
Ah, yes, of course. You just expose yourself to enough spikes and you build a tolerance to spikes. Yeah. Hey, Jack, but, Jay's out there all busted up. I mean, I can't think of a foil for Solo. Cody don't have that many friends.
Yeah, and funny enough, I didn't put two and two together right away, but I had been telling people he's gonna come on. They kept telling me that doesn't make sense. What's he gonna come out for? And I'm like, you don't understand. This is endgame levels right here. It doesn't have to make sense. We are just bringing everyone out. Solo's looking around trying to figure out what to do, and that is when the true GOAT comes out. John Cena makes his entrance, starts running down that ring. The last time we saw him, that's what I didn't connect at first, but then I realized it. The last man who sent John Cena packing was Solo Sikoa. He's back with a vengeance. He starts beating up on Solo. I believe he puts him through the announcer's table with an attitude adjustment.
Yes, that is correct. And all seems all right. The odds have been evened out again. Cody's gonna finish his story. We certainly haven't run out of Anoa'i family members that might involve themselves in this affair. Certainly also not one that has a relatively deep history with John Cena, the man who just came out to spoil things. Yeah, crud, here comes The Rock.
Here comes Rock. And real quick, I want to mention, strategically, news dropping earlier in the day that apparently Jacob Fatu has signed with WWE. I don't know if that's true or not, but I had seen a bunch of rumblings in news. So the entire match, I'm sitting there worried, don't tell me this is how they're going to drag this out even more, So I'm worried about that. But yes, The Rock comes out. And
I never in 1,000 years thought Jacob Fatu was going to be a part of the main event of WrestleMania. You could all go and have your Will Ospreay main event at All In London with Jacob Fatu too. Relax, guys. That guy, the ink ain't dry on that agreement yet.
Yeah,
relax.
But The Rock and John Cena are there. They meet in the ring for I forget how many years it's been at this point.
Right.
And The Rock, first Cena has to take off his shirt, let him know he's ready to fight. And then he hits a rock bottom.
Sure does. Rock bottom so hard, sunglasses fall off his face. And this is when we're going to get that whooping, Jack. He's got his belt.
Wait, dude, hold on. Did we forget someone?
Did we forget? No. We haven't forgot anyone yet.
Oh, no. He comes in at this point, right? I'm thinking of Seth Rollins.
The Shield. Yeah. Music hits. Everyone's going crazy thinking about what that implies.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people thinking that too. And then the Shield music hits. Seth Rollins comes running in with a chair, only to immediately eat a Superman punch from Roman Reigns, who then, after hitting that punch, immediately falls out the ring and goes back to napping.
I don't know if you saw the fan cam footage of Seth Rollins is out of view of the camera until Roman hits him. Like, we don't see him at all, and Rock turns around and realizes Roman, intercepts him. But, there's fan cam footage of him going into the ring. And to say he ran in, Jack, is quite the generous statement. The man is hobbling. He has had a rough old 2 nights. And somehow made it into the back to change into his SWAT gear.
Yeah. But so that happens. Takes him out. Rock just goes, okay, well, I'll continue with Cody. Gets that weighted belt that says Mama Rhodes on it. Is getting ready to whip Cody. Sir, surely there's someone who can come out and stop this. Surely there's someone who's equally as bald as The Rock, who was equally as much of a superstar in the 90s as The Rock. Because I don't know if you heard, but on commentary, they were mentioning how The Rock carried during the Attitude Era, forgetting a certain foil to The Rock that was there alongside him during that 90s Attitude Era. Someone equally bald, like I said, that was there, that was notorious for maybe drinking a couple beers and shattering glass.
Are you talking about, Jack, that world-renowned Texan, that person who resides now in Texas, that guy who has a penchant for denim?
Yeah, surely someone is here to save Cody with just the shatter of a glass and drive down on a motorized vehicle.
Yeah. Yeah, you're talking about The Undertaker, right?
To the biggest shock of everyone watching, it is not the glass shatter, it is not Stone Cold, but The Undertaker's gong hits and everyone loses their mind.
Not gonna lie, for as disappointed as I was that it wasn't Stone Cold, the lights going out, him being there, the lights going out, him being gone, it just works so often. It works every time, And for a guy that old, right, to still be able to be there, in position, ready to go.
Yeah, and then not only
even though he's dressed like everyone's Hell's Angels grandpa.
And not only that, but I like how someone afterwards posted a series of photos showing that hey, for all of you who want to say it doesn't make sense, this man's been feuding with this family for decades at this point. They show him facing off against Yokozuna, against The Rock, against Roman at Mania,
Yeah. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, he takes out The Rock with a chokeslam, is out of there as soon as you can. And then Cody's left trying to get up. Rollins is finally recovering, trying to get up. Roman enters back in. He grabs that chair, ready to hit Cody. But then he just takes a little look to his left, seeing Seth Rollins in the same position that Roman Reigns was, 10 years ago now?
10 years ago.
Over a decade ago. He still cannot let go of the fact of the tragedy that this man Rollins caused to him, the betrayal. And he chooses to hit Seth Rollins with that chair, finally get revenge, finally free himself from that demon that's been, haunting him since that day. and then goes looking for the spear on Cody Rhodes to continue this reign, only to be met with a knee and hit with 3 crossroads. And I literally the entire time throughout the show, I was telling my dad, me and my dad were both ready for disappointment, and we were both under the mindset of we're not going to believe it until it happens. After 4 years, it finally happens. Cody Rhodes beats Roman Reigns. His reign as undisputed champion has finally ended, to the applause of all.
I was super excited that Philadelphia showed up and cheered for Cody and this moment. I feel like they've been real back and forth on my guy because The Rock stops being so gosh darn entertaining. You're like, yeah, we want to finish the story, but also The Rock is The Rock, right? But nah, they were ready for this moment, and when it happened, they did exactly what they needed to do, and that's, raise the roof.
Yeah. Finally, the listeners of this podcast who, maybe have been listening since this reign has begun can finally say thank you that they no longer have to hear me complain about Roman Reigns still being champion.
Jack, if we started doing this in the COVID WrestleMania, right? Mm-hmm. Roman Reigns' title reign has almost lasted as long as we've been doing this.
Yeah. It's been going on for quite some time.
One champion.
Yeah. Man. But, yep, 4 years, finally done. I was going crazy because, I'm glad, not only that the reign is over, but I'm glad Cody wins here, I'm glad he gets this moment. My dad was so happy that this is all finally over with Roman.
I did you see the press conference?
I only saw some clips. I didn't catch everything.
I bring it up because somebody mentions that when Dusty Rhodes won the NWA title from Flair, I guess, all the baby faces came out from the back to celebrate with them. And they wondered if they had done that on purpose because here with Cody, we got a big old line of baby faces come out to hoist them up on their shoulders and celebrate. And it's all of Roman's victims that are still employed by WWE. It's Kevin Owens, it's Randy Orton, LA Knight is out there. I love it when Cody was like, yeah, no, I love seeing Randy. Like, he really was choking up, describing that moment, and Randy being there, A guy that taught him as much as, he learned in his infancy of the business. John Cena, another guy he said he drove around to have him out there, right? And then he goes, an LA Knight. That's crazy.
Yeah, and I like how someone caught video of Roman exiting to the back, and you see all those baby faces just go running by him, and it's it plays out poetically that his empire is crumbled, and here are all his victims coming to celebrate his demise.
Did you see Roman smile in the pin?
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
What a weight that must be, what a weight that must feel like has been lifted.
Yeah.
The Undertaker described something similar when that streak was broken. He was like, he just felt lighter.
Yeah. And, man, that Philadelphia crowd for night 2 just had all the energy in the world because they were woeing every single time that thing looped.
I know. The woes were definitely decreasing, and I thought they were overstaying their welcome a bit, but we got Mama Rhodes, we got Brandy in there. He gave her the title. I am a wreck, Jack. I am an absolute wreck at this point.
Yeah, I was like, that's such a cool visual, I was glad to see everyone celebrate. Did you see that he was wanting to do the woe with everyone in the ring? But then they lifted him up on their shoulders, and you see him visually going, no, and then they lift him up on his shoulder. He's like, oh, I guess not.
Yeah, that's funny.
But yeah,
yeah,
an absolute spectacle. Of course, you have people complaining about it. There's gonna be detractors for everything in this business at this point. But to me, the people complaining that it's an overbooked mess. It wasn't overbooked enough, sir. We were expecting Endgame. We were expecting every single person to come out.
Yeah, we got a 1-to-1 ratio of interference, right? We wanted everybody out there.
But it is an absolutely wonderful finish to cap off the 2 nights of WrestleMania. Absolute chaos all around, and we finally have a new world champion in the WWE.
Yes, sir. And I hope he disappears and is completely inaccessible.
Oh, man. So, there's only one question on everyone's mind from this point on.
What do you want to talk about?
Oh, no, I was going to say, who's dethroning Cody now, sir?
Whoa!
I saw people asking that on the day of, and I'm like, it hasn't even been a day. We just went
the
through.
Ring.
I was like, come on.
Talking like his nephew or whoever that kid was.
And I was like, come on now. Like, the reign just started.
But I heard and wondered, like, if he was going to lose it, like, on Monday, like people do. Damian Priest is another guy I thought was, you know what I mean, gonna celebrate a really short victory of a reign by some shenanigans. But goodness, who's next? Who's going to? Oh, well, actually, we saw on Raw that in a number one contenders match, Jey Uso beat Drew because CM Punk stuck his nose in that guy's business again.
That dastardly old man.
Jey versus Cody in a babyface versus babyface snorefest until one of them develops a personality.
Oh, man. But yeah, got quite the future to look forward to with this WWE, because as they've been saying, it's a new era. As many have been donning the name on it, the Renaissance era is what I've heard some people say.
Yeah, I like the sound of that. I'm not against the Paul Levesque era either. You know, big bashful guy who's real mad, I'm sure, because Cody made him come out there and celebrate. Isn't it crazy he asked for Bruce Pritchard too? I think Bruce Pritchard's like a persona non grata yet. Maybe not yet. But when you got Laurinaitis on the hook for things, this guy can't be innocent.
Yeah, as soon as he called out for him, someone was like, oh, I can't wait to see the edited footage of this WrestleMania celebration.
They put the blue dot on his face they wanted to put on Christian when he started.
Yeah, oh man.
So, Jack, night 1 or night 2?
I think for the first time in, like I said, since these 2 nights were, I have to like look back on certain nights, but I can remember for sure for last year, and I think I even want to say night 1 of 37, but again, I have to look back through all the nights, but I think for the first time, maybe I have to say night 2.
Night 1 last year had like the Intercontinental match, I think.
It had the Intercontinental match. It had the tag match.
Charlotte Rhea.
Yeah, it had Charlotte Rhea. It had that tag team scramble where everyone just went crazy.
Yeah, it had the
Ray versus Dominic
versus the Usos. The only bad one was maybe Cena versus Austin Theory. It had Lesnar and Omos.
I think that was on night 2's opener.
You're right. But, yeah, this year, night 2, all day, every day.
Yeah, definitely. Night 2 was very good. Sir, what was your match?
My match of the night. Oh, I have my notes here. Oh, goodness. I have my notes, and I'm second guessing. You know what? It is the package of Drew versus Seth with the cash-in.
I think, mainly because, yes, there was a match, but the main event was more about the spectacle of it all and then everything after. I think I'd probably give it to Io and Bayley for night 2.
Right on. I think the main event tag had a lot of, like, it's funny because, like, seen live, it was a drag. But you watch all the bits are very good.
Yeah.
That match was done for social media.
Definitely. That's a speed match right there.
Oh, my. Just like I'm thinking about starting cable again. This got me going, I hope they put those on YouTube or something because I don't want to get on Twitter. I don't want to watch those 5-minute matches. You seen Edge talk about the Attitude Era? Hey, yeah, people think it's great, but they're like 3-minute matches. 3-minute matches are great.
Yeah, I think that was the worst platform they could have put that stuff on. Twitter's the worst place for wrestling community.
You could have put it on Truth Social.
I'm trying to think of like some of the old. Do you remember like the old apps they used to advertise like back in the day, like on their ones?
Oh, you mean like, hey, check out our exclusive matches, 5-minute matches on Tout.
Tout. Oh man. Yeah, but yeah.
And what, Jack, was your move of the weekend?
Move of the weekend. Man, this is a tough one to think back of, like, all the matches that occurred, you know?
Yeah.
I think I got to give it to the Brain Buster from Sammy. That popped me more than anything this past week.
You took the words right out of my mouth, but because you called that first, I'll give you another one. I'm going to give it to the leg sweep on Drew on the announce table by Best in the World, CM Punk. He's grown so much, Jack. He's a different person than you think you know him.
Yeah, he's clearly changed, you know. He's very
changed so much, Jack. Yeah. I'll give it to the old leg sweep. All right, The well-deserved. He asked for it. He could have had a moment, but he made it all about CM Punk.
He was just staying true to his word, you know. Like I said, CM Punk can't understand that.
He messed around. He found out. That's what happened.
Oh, man. I was surprised. He didn't injure himself during that move.
This is fun.
I can't wait for the day that some random person like finds this podcast and thinks I'm being like super serious about this CM Punk. They think I'm like some AEW fan who's still like bitter about him, and then they just come to find out like, no, it's just a bit of me like joking around on CM Punk and like all about him.
I don't know how to communicate like the high probability that you're wearing a Punk shirt while you say it.
Yeah, I think that was the funniest one was Rumble, where I was like saying all this stuff, and then my dad is like, "You're wearing a CM Punk shirt while saying all this stuff about him," and I'm like, "Well, yeah, I'm a fan of the guy. That doesn't mean I can't call him out on his BS."
Commentator of the weekend, right? He had a lot of voices behind the commentary booth. It's Snoop Dogg. And you know what? I didn't get to read these. I took a lot of notes. When B-Fab jumps in, starts fighting Scarlett Bordeaux, he wrote, "My girl would jump in too." And then when they bust out the table, he goes, "Hey, that's like a family reunion table." Not your standard table. This is like one more fitting for a family reunion. And then he said, "Whoop that trick." I don't think aware of what he was referencing in the WWE universe.
Yeah.
And then when they were saying goodbye, he mentions that y'all can't do what I do backstage out here. Michael Cole, you know what I mean? And Michael Cole goes, "I definitely know what you mean."
Paul Heyman knows what he means. He referenced it a lot in his Hall of Fame speech when talking about Rob Van Dam.
Oh, my.
Also, shout out Samantha Irvin for the very real emotions during that announcement of Cody as champion.
I mean, I'm surprised her voice didn't like waver more just for how cold it was, you know?
Oh, I know. It was very cold.
Corey Graves shouted her out, and I seen that short, like someone's always recording her. Yeah. I feel you, Samantha Irving.
Oh, man. What a wonderful night.
Last note, in the tag match, the tag ladder match, when R-Truth was doing something, I was reminded of the one thing I heard in the pre-show, which was playing in the background. Big E said that R-Truth looks as good as he does 30 years later because R-Truth doesn't understand time. He either doesn't understand or he doesn't believe in it. He goes, I think it's because he doesn't believe in it that he doesn't age.
Oh, man. But, sir, that caps off another WrestleMania for us.
Goodness gracious. Thank you, Jack, for having me. This has been an absolute delight, and I was looking forward to talking with you.
Same here, sir. Anything else left to add?
Are you watching AEW? What's the April one?
What happened?
What's the April event for AEW?
Oh, Dynasty.
Dynasty. You gonna watch that?
I think I probably will.
They're stacking that deck. I'm like, oh, it's hard to ignore. This one's gonna be good.
Yeah. I mean, Bryan Danielson and Will Ospreay, Samoa Joe and Swerve. They'll inevitably put something on there that I'm just like, oh, why'd you have to add this?
I think you mean Swerve versus Dustin Rhodes when he finishes his story this Wednesday on Dynamite.
Both shows this week featuring a Samoan fighting a Rhodes.
A Samoan named Joe. Juan Rhodes.
Oh, man. And real quickly, before we close out.
Yes, sir.
I just want to apologize to all the listeners who have had to hear me cough through the past 3 episodes. But you got to push through, man. The show goes on.
Yes, it does. In 2022, was it? There's an episode in December where I just have COVID.
Yeah, I think it was our top 10 list, I think. It was either our top 10 list or like one of the year-end pay-per-views, something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But with that being said, thank y'all for joining us for these 3 episodes covering Mania. I've been Jack, joined by
Mr. Solis.
Thank y'all for joining us for 3 episodes of Season 4, and we'll catch you on the next one.